Hi, I'm Nemi. This is my wife, IJ. This is our story.
Yes. So Nemi and I, after we got married, it did take a few years, 6 years, for us to conceive our first child, and it was a very difficult season for us. We did go in and out of the hospital intensely for over 2 years, trying to find a solution. We did everything that the doctors recommended us to do. We tried infertility treatments. We were willing to do whatever it took to conceive a child, and all those years went by, and every single treatment obviously didn't bring us a child. And I still remember the very last treatment we did that didn't take at all, because previously I did get pregnant but had a very early miscarriage, and I was standing right, leaning on the frame of our door and our bedroom door, and talking to Nemi about what we're going to do next, and if we were going to continue more treatments. And Nemi said, no, we're done. We're just going to trust God, and we're going to hold God to His word, which was difficult for me personally to hear, because I was still willing to try, even though I was drained, physically and mentally, from going in and out of the hospital and not getting the child out of any of our efforts. Nemi was very sure that we had done enough, and I still remember him saying, "Don't you think if God wanted us to have a child now, don't you think that one of the treatments that we've done would have worked out?" And yeah, that was it. So we called it a day then, and we started waiting indefinitely. I'd say, yeah.
Well, there's an old song that I used to we sang in a church that I went to growing up that says that God will not share His glory with anybody, and so I think going back to the decision to wait, God can move in so many different ways, and we know that through medical intervention and life choices and healthy choices and all those things. But I just got to the point where something inside of me just said, you know what, He's going to do this and He's going to take all the glory. And we just said, part of it, even from a medical standpoint, the stress, the waiting, the expectation, and all that just wreaks havoc on you. And so we just got to the point where we just relax and let's just live life. When the kids come, they'll come. And I still remember clearly the day that she told me she had a little surprise, and it was like a big unveiling, and she was like, "I'm pregnant," and I was like, "Whoa, this is finally happening." Because it's one thing to profess by faith, it's one thing to be hopeful, it's another thing to see it come full circle and see that truly God is faithful, and to see that. And it wasn't just the instant of knowing that you're pregnant, having waited for so long and having gone through the trauma of losing the first pregnancy, we still had to challenge ourselves to hold on to God and tell ourselves that, look, this is going to come full term. And, in the end, it did, and we're forever grateful.
Yes. If I could go back to, the entire season of waiting, I would just relax more and just trust God and really rely on Him. You're told to have faith when you go through very difficult seasons, but the truth is, faith is something that is built up. I don't think anyone wakes up with faith, and that looks different for every single person. And I think, just looking back at the season that we're at now with the kids, just enjoy whatever is in front of you, and just know truly that God has a plan and a purpose, and His timing, even it's never late. He has every gritty detail he has in his hands, and he'll unveil it just at the right time.
Yeah, if you're a young couple struggling with conceiving and having a child, the first thing is faith. You have to have faith. And as IJ said, that's difficult for everybody. Easier said than done. But it's not something that you just get a healthy dose of faith in one day. Little muscles, right? Little mustard seeds of faith help. So you just exercise that faith. That's the first thing. The second thing that I would say on a practical level is you have to work together, right? You can't have both of you pulling in different directions. If your spouse wants to go do medical, go via the medical route and get medical intervention, you've got to be there. You've got to be there every step of the way supporting them. You can't have one person being the faithful warrior clinging onto faith and then the other person going in an opposite direction. You've got to work together, whatever path you take. And ultimately have some friends, have a church buddy or church family or people within the church you can lean on. Because I can tell you what, it's a very lonely season, especially when you're in that age range where you have a lot of your friends getting married, and every year seemingly everyone has a baby and you're invited to all these baby showers and so many things, and you're celebrating with folks on the outside, but deep inside you're asking yourself, when is this going to be me? And it's a lonely season to work through, and you don't have to do it alone. Do it with people like-minded, people who can share your faith and carry the burden with you.
So we did get pregnant unexpectedly, and yes, like Nemi said, I surprised him. I told him that we were pregnant. Well, it took me the whole day of trying to digest that I was holding a positive pregnancy test in my hand. And not only that, after that, we did have some complications, but God kept our child, and he came, and not long after that, we got another positive pregnancy test, and God blessed us again with another child. And so we serve a faithful God. He's true to his word. There's nothing that he cannot do. There is nothing actually that is impossible with him. If you trust him and just continue to hold on and prophesy, whatever it is that you're hoping for, prophesy it out of your mouth till it gets in your spirit. You will have a testimony to share, and also be an encouragement to other people who are going through the same thing.